Welcome back to Beards and Brews. Hey, if you haven't already, hit those subscribe buttons and hit those notification sounds. Not only does it help us out, but you'll know exactly when we have another one brewing. This week's movie is going to be Moon. Fellas, would you consider the scene with Sam Rockwell at the ping pong table playing with yourself?
Yes.
Well, there you have it.
Same.
No, gotta work. Goddamn, what a bummer. Even on the moon.
Dude, the original Sam, I'll say. Spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, I think we need to go ahead and make a spoiler, just like a universal blanket spoiler warning. This is one of those movies where if you haven't seen it and you're planning on seeing it, just know that it's going to get completely spoiled. There's some shit.
There's some deep shit, like deep space shit.
Not only is there some shit, but there's some global shit going down. Why? Because the Earth sucks, and then we fixed it. How? Moon power. Moon electric power rates have got to be huge.
I'm actually kind of happy the movie just like goes out of its way to be like, all right, you're gonna have to suspend your disbelief. Let's at least set the stage. In the future, we're on the moon because we need moon energy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess the idea is you got sun energy coming to the moon, and then we're just like taking it out of the moon rock somehow and sending it back to Earth in the form of helium. I don't know. We'll figure it out in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? You know how we get that moon energy? Doesn't matter. Sam Rockwell's got the job taken care of.
I would tell you, but then you'll never learn.
Great.
And one other thing we need to clear out of the way. This was written and directed by Duncan Jones. That's actually David Bowie's son. Am I right?
Oh, man. You think this entire thing is just an homage to just Space Oddity?
Or a sequel? Or a prequel?
Mind blown.
Yeah.
Well, the lunar stage is set. We need the moonergy. This fella, Sam Rockwell, who I'll just continue to call Sam Rockwell because his character name is also Sam. Fuck it.
I think we need to clear it up a little bit because not only does Sam Rockwell play Sam, he plays Sam 2 and Sam 3.
Remember those spoilers? We got you covered.
Yep.
He even does voice acting for OG Sam.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
We'll get to that. We have to talk about that. But like, that was one of the things I realized going back and rewatching this, how fucked that whole entire scene was.
It's dark.
Well, you know what else is dark? That pesky side of the moon you just can't see. And that's where Sam Rockwell is. He's just up there tending to his job. That's all he does. He just tends to all the automated services.
Yeah, I really feel like this is the kind of situation where it can kind of like run itself, automated, but they need somebody up there just in case something breaks. I think he's more of a technician than like an astronaut or a miner or whatever they try and pass him off as.
Yeah, he's the geek squad for the moon Roombas.
Oh, moon Roombas. Dude, Moonbas are fucking gold. It's either that or they just needed somebody to keep Kevin Spacey company. They didn't trust him to be by himself.
Oh. Yeah, that was going to be my next point. The real moon Roombas, they're called Gertie. I don't know what that stands for, Gerty, and they're voiced by Kevin Spacey.
He's like the AI. He's like the HAL of the space station.
100% Hal.
See, I just saw him as one of those Tamagotchi feed me pets because he just had emoji faces.
They worked, man. Like when he just popped the smiley emoji, I'm just like, hey, bud, what are you doing? Something nefarious? All right, you get out of here, sport.
I was actually a little bit more wary of him when he had that smiley face showing. When he had like the straight face or like the frowny face, I was like, oh, come on, cheer up, buddy.
No, see, I'm going to differ. There's one moment where they're waking up, the secondary Sam or whatever, and he walks in to Gertie having a live conversation, and he goes, Gertie, what's going on? And it just for a minute has like the face.
And that whole conversation is very... because he just, he presses the button just like his mom just walked in and him just watching some U-porn or something. Just barely got past the drum roll.
I wasn't watching Cinemax after 11.
It's very specific.
Yes. Skinemax at that point.
So anyway, this guy spent 3 years on this thing on the moon, and he's got 2 weeks left before he gets to rotate back to the Earth.
Isn't it always like that? 2 weeks before retirement? Damn.
Getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, I mean, and how can you even trust a computer that is like that spacey.
Oh.
While I was watching, I was actively trying to figure out like what necessarily needed like the human component because
Mhm.
like we discussed, everything is they're all automaton. Like this is all figured out. Kevin Spacey's got it. The only thing that I could figure out is that he was just kept around because of wall graffiti, and he named one of the trucks Luke, but he kindly marked it out to write Judas, just to let you know he's a bit finicky.
Did he really?
Yeah, it's just something I noticed. I was like, it's kind of cute. Okay.
That truck turned on him and wouldn't start one morning.
We made you!
Oh,
I did
no.
notice that the trucks were named like Luke, Matthew, Mark, whatever. Thinking about it, that means that there's probably 4 trucks. There is one person at any given time on this base.
Yeah.
Why do they need 4 trucks?
You ask a very important question. Why, on this lunar base staffed by one person, would they need 4 trucks? Well, plot point, he goes out to clean up one of the moon buzz, and he's dying, so he starts hallucinating, and he crashes and kills himself pretty much.
You know what? Now that you bring it up, it's a fair point. Like, they always have to keep one around just so they can fucking murk him, Like, oh, this is the running over truck. The rest of them, clean moonergy.
How many Sams were harmed in the making of this film?
All of them.
They're like, shut it down. Shut it all down.
Okay, this was my first time seeing this. Both of you had seen this before, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. The first time that you all watched this, did you all know where this is going? Because I straight up thought that he was just getting into like some space madness.
That's the illusion they want you to have.
Okay.
And for me, on my first watch, I immediately noticed whenever he crashed, because they had made a point to show that he burned his hand. It's a distinct thing. He crashes, he wakes back up, he no longer has the burn. And I went, okay, where'd that go?
Well, the first time I watched it, I was along for the ride. I kept my suspension of disbelief pretty high, and it didn't hit me until that conversation between Sam 1 and Gertie, where there's like legitimately 2 twists in one conversation.
Which conversation?
It's one that happens later on where they have just like an off moment where he's kind of like going to his old controls and Gertie's kind of like already ready for the new guy. He's like, why don't you just be straight with me? And then he just is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Because he's trying to put in his password, but Gertie's like, bro, that shit don't work anymore. I changed it because I thought you were dead.
He just added an exclamation point or something.
Sorry, you've already been terminated from life.
Oh,
fuck,
that's
dude.
it.
Like, they just throw the pink slip on his dead ass body.
Enjoy your flight home, bitch.
Another angle that we haven't really talked about yet is he's got a family back home, sort of. He's got a wife named Tess and a daughter who is, what, like 3?
I thought she was just born.
She's old enough to run onto the screen. Like, she's like, hi, daddy.
Oh, yeah. That's
and
right.
if she was just born, like, he's been up there for 3 years, just under 3 years. So I'm expecting she's got to be at least in the, like, minimum, like, 2.5 year range.
Yeah, because he's been up there this hot minute, and she's been waiting this whole time for him to get out of Moon Prison and get on Con Air, fly back to her on July 14th. My birthday is July 14th. My daddy gets out of Moon Prison on July 14th.
Gertie, put the bunny back in the space box.
I didn't even realize that parallel right there, but yeah, you're exactly right.
As long as he departs on Lunair, I'm fucking sold.
So this next part is when he's in his, like, the common quarters. It's common, I guess, but there's only one person. Watching a little Bewitched. He's doing a little whittling on this little house project that he's got, this little model house town thing.
Yeah, like as sterile as the station is by itself, they actually do a really good job of world building where they can. So like they have all his shit. I guess was sent to him over time. They got like posters, family photos. He's got some like little graffitis. That little town you mentioned that he built out of sticks. It's just what he does now. He just picked up a moon hobby.
Yes, it was sent to him over time.
Wink.
I love that his moon hobby is building a miniature town like the one from Beetlejuice. Somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere down there in Fairfield, there's a little cemetery with a finger pointing down at it. Say Beetlejuice 3 times and shit's going to get lit on the moon.
I mean,
can we please have a Beetlejuice set on the moon? Moon juice?
Yes.
Moon juice. Dude, if they can get boots, juice is the next step.
Fucking, he's just like, come on down, I'll chew on a Gertie.
Yeah, but I really like that he's just sitting around watching old episodes of Bewitched and whittling like he's already like become an old man, even though he's like 30.
I mean, the binging just never stops. Imagine what shows he's already plowed through to get the Bewitched.
He's just
Oh,
on his
for
sixth
real.
rewatch of Bewitched. He's really got a thing for Elizabeth Montgomery, and I get it.
Well, this is supposed to also show the difference in Sam. This is something that evolves throughout the film. This is to show the difference between the Sam that we get to meet and the Sam that he becomes. Because it says whenever he first arrived and in his marriage that things were rocky. He was too aggressive. He didn't know how to just calm down and be a person and appreciate the things around him. But his time on the space station made him a different man, one of focus, one of determination, and one that appreciated the family he had waiting for him back home.
Man, you saying Moon Prison just as like an off joke now just kind of sinks in like, yeah, this dude's rehabilitated, you know?
Yeah. The only visitors that he even gets up on that fucking place are Ignignok and
Oh, the Moonanites.
You had brought up those sets. The set design for this entire film, it's very small, very personal, but it's also so easily recognizable. When you look at that space station, you immediately go, yes, this is the space station. Why? Because it looks just like everything I've ever seen before, but perfected. It looks awesome. He's got his food laid out in the refrigerator and stacked little meals. He's got everything in its own place, even though its own place is a little slop hole. It's still there.
Everything.
Yeah. I think what makes it work the most is when it's just all cluttered. Like it's lived in. Like this is useful. Like it's being used. Otherwise, like when they mop all that shit up, it just looks like the place where I got the sonogram on my nutsack.
Yeah, like it does kind of go back and forth between like 2001: A Space Odyssey and like The Thing. Because The Thing, you know, you got people living, this is a community, and then 2001, it's just so sterile, and you kind of have like both of that here.
I had a really dumb moment just now because you were just saying it's kind of like The Thing. I'm just like, yeah, it's like The Thing if it were from space. I'm like, fuck. All right, you got me.
Did you guys like how he got his hair cut by that vacuum hair cutter from fucking Wayne's World?
Dude, the Suck Cut. Yes, absolutely. This is Suck Cut 4000. Can't go wrong with that. Fucking even Gertie helped him out.
In my notes, I have it down as an intergalactic Floby.
We don't need another intergalactic Floby.
R.I.P. Torn.
That's not a treasure. That's goddamn Floby on a rope.
Floby on a roby?
Anyway, so the next thing we show is he's sleeping and he's having a little dream of a little sexy time with his wife back home. He probably hasn't had that in a while. And his alarm wakes him up and he is pissed and horny. So, like, get out of his way.
I don't know what space horny is like, but I don't want to be it. This guy has it written all over his face.
Lost in space!
Unfortunately, he didn't moon rub one out, so like he's got to go on his job. That's what I really like about this movie is that Sam, it doesn't take much to like this guy. You're like, okay, he's a working man, he's paying his dues, it's about to pay off. But this movie just absolutely loves driving him in the wood like a fucking nail, and that was the first step. Like he has his little wet dream, fuck, gotta go to work, goes to work and fucking dies.
Isn't that always the way?
2 weeks from retirement, god damn it.
But before we get to him dead, when he's actually mostly dead. But when he's actually driving on his way to this, what is it, a harvester on this, like, it's like a big moon tank or something. Man, the score, it just swells up. The score in a few moments in this film is just like, I'm not saying it's especially great or anything, but it rises to prominence at certain times to make it like the thing that you're paying attention to. Or was that just me? Okay.
No,
yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely a driving force for the movie. It helps build those moments, like you said, when he's driving or when there's a suspenseful reveal about to happen. They do amazing with that on this.
I absolutely agree. And actually, this point in the movie in particular, it develops a sense of uneasiness really quickly in a way that's very horror movie-esque, but it's different because at this point in the movie, we don't know what the outside force is.
Yeah, and during a couple of these times when something's going on, you start to see like people, like a girl, a woman. Is that his wife that he's supposed to be seeing,
I don't
having
know.
visions of?
I don't know.
Okay.
The dark-headed chick totally threw me for a loop. I was just like, is that his woman? I don't know. They look like the lady from The Ring.
Yeah,
Yes.
like you're trying to look, and they do a good job at like keeping things sort of obscured to where you're like questioning it yourself. Like, is that who is that? Is that? None of us are still sure. We all watched the movie. We don't know.
See, to me, it was where his programming, where his clone life expectancy was running out, and his memories were starting to falter because he was even having moments like sitting in the the common area. He was like, "Hey, I'm having a headache. I need medicine. I'm throwing up blood." He even had like the bit where he's watching the message from his wife and it hiccups and he sees a different lady for just a second. And he's like, "What?"
Ah.
There's even that bit where he was just sitting in his like a little office space. The CT monitor flickered to like a different version of him.
And
Man,
that's almost like collective memory, you know what I mean? Because genetically he's passing it down to the clone next to him over and over and over.
So many damn clones.
man, this movie's got some layers that I didn't even pick up.
Yes, the onion of Moon.
Moon!
But we finally get to that little transitional part of the movie where Sam bites the fucking moon dust. And it's kind of humorous in hindsight. This shit just tickles me. So, like, he is daydreaming, and he just not noticing he's driving fucking full bore into the back wheels of this excavator. And it catches him by surprise. I'm just like, well...
Completely fucking wrecks his moon unit.
Yes!
Nice.
Was it Moon Unit Alpha or Moon Unit Zappa?
Definitely the Zappa.
Oh, but I enjoy the fact that he's like daydreaming and there's this fucking dust cloud around him, and suddenly the vehicle that the sand people use smashes into him.
The Sandcrawler.
All right, yeah. So he gets banged up pretty bad. I mean, maybe dead, maybe not dead. Is he dead? He's not dead.
Nah, he's not dead.
I mean, it's a severe traumatic experience, and thanks to the Jawas for carrying his dead body back to the place, he wakes up feeling right as rain. Question mark.
Yeah, I'm still a little bit confused about this. So we are led to believe that Gertie, like the computer machine thing, went all the way out there and picked his ass up?
I'm just going to point out that the moon's gravity is 1/6 of what is on Earth, so it doesn't matter who you are, including Gertie, he's fucking swole.
Brah. At this point, we're led to believe neither. It's supposed to be suspicious because he wakes up and he's like, "How did I get back if I was in an accident?" He's like, "Don't worry about it. Anything I can do for you?" And his little emojis flash like palm and then the in-out finger symbol over and over.
Yeah, he just says like, "Go back to sleep. You're tired. We can talk later."
Just masterful avoiding all the questions. He's like, "Oh, what happened? I feel like I got hit by an excavator." He's like, dude, sleep it off. You're good. We good. I'm Kevin Spacey. We good.
And during all this time, they've been having to relay messages sort of in batches, I guess. So there's no real-time communication between the moon and the Earth. Is that right?
Correct. And I remember seeing this for the first time, being absolutely confused why this is the future and they don't have Skype.
Yeah, I guess what had happened was they normally do, but there's some satellite that's been out for like 2 weeks or something, or 2 months, or however long. I don't know how long. Satellite's been out, so it's just like an inconvenience, I guess, right?
I mean, at that point, wouldn't it mean that the entire stay, the 3 years, it was just inoperable? Like, they're just like, yeah, goddamn contractors just won't fucking fill the thing. I don't know what to do, buddy. Just sit on the moon, eat your moon goop.
How long do you guys think is like the typical lifespan for one of these clones?
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years.
I think it's a lot less than that.
What gives you that idea?
Well, like they talk about the satellite being out for 2 weeks or however long it is, 2 weeks or 2 months, and he's constantly got 2 weeks left. Like, even this takes place over a couple days, and it keeps saying like you've got 2 weeks left. My thought is like maybe they spawn them constantly with 2 weeks left.
That's fair, but I think it's the full 3 years because big spoiler. Boo, 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 boo.
I think we're past that.
Like, we do find out that like his daughter is fully grown. She's about 16, so that means that's about 5 or so. Yeah, that's about 5 or so Sam's, 6 now.
Mhm.
And like in that huge hallway of Sam's, there's only about 5 or 6 that have been used.
Okay, all right. That's a fair point.
Things get weird at this point, though, for Sam, because he wakes up. Gertie's saying, "You're okay, whatever, don't worry about it, sleep it off." He wants to go outside and work, but Gertie's got him on lockdown. And
Yeah.
he's like, something's wrong. And whenever he finally, finagles a way out by pretending a meteorite struck the compound, Gertie lets him out and he notices A, his favorite suit is gone. B, Judas is missing. And that's not where he left things.
Well, it gets fucking really hairy pretty quickly because, like, we mentioned beforehand, like, we have an opportunity to see how this character was in 2 points in time. So, like, this is like fresh Sam, and he's outgoing. Like, he doesn't take no for an answer. Gertie's like, "Hey, stay in your shit or consequences." He's like, I'm gonna stab this hose and be like, "You gotta send me outside regardless, bitch." And he does.
Huh. Yeah, I'm
once
just kind of realizing more things as we talk about it. Yeah, I never really realized that. Okay, yeah.
The other Sam, the original Sam, well, we'll call him Burnhand Sam. Burnhand Sam, he's given up. He's just burning his time for his 2 weeks until he's out of there. So he could care less. He's doing the bare minimum. He's waiting for tenure. As to where new Sam is just like, I got shit to do. Why are these things that don't make sense not adding up? And why are you keeping me from investigating? As to where other Sam's like, I don't care. I'm leaving in 2 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I spent my 3 years. It's time to go back to the bone zone on Earth.
On Earth. Yeah, he does start to like pick up little things here and there. Like he walks up on Gertie having what appears to be like a live call with Earth people. And, Come Back Home Central, whatever they call it, is saying like, well, how did you manage to destroy a rover, a harvester, an employee all in one day? And then we talked about it. He walks around the corner and is just like, I was just recording a message to send in the future. Nothing is weird here.
I know he fumbles through that whole thing. Gertie does. Like, oh, it's nothing. Totally not my fucking Japanese porn collection, whatever you. But like, there's this odd moment where like Gertie goes like, "Oh yeah, we had that accident. Remember, you're waking up from it. So they're going to send these 3 dudes and they're going to help you fix everything." They show their identification pictures, and they just look like a bunch of moon thugs coming to fucking murder everybody.
Now, that is the Unabomber, Joe Rogan, and Chum Lee.
Fucking moon mercs on the way.
Yeah.
And he's buying the story, which blows my mind. He's like, all right, I guess. As he walks away, he's like, nothing to see here. Winky face emoji. And then he goes around the corner, and then it's like, exhale emoji, sunglasses emoji.
Fucking nailed it. What a fucking smooth operator.
Did you guys like read the text on the screen there that he's supposed to be reading? The text that says, obey their instructions no matter how strange they may seem.
Oh, God.
That means Gertie has the intuition, the intelligence to know what's weird. That's super weird now that I think about it.
Well, what's really crazy is if any of them knew from the get-go that they were a clone, Gertie wouldn't stop them from doing whatever they want, because his program is designed to help Sam and do whatever he says, no matter how weird.
Oh. Also, he's still going by the 3 laws of robotics.
Yes.
Don't hurt Sam. Don't do anything that would hurt Sam. If Sam wants you to hurt Sam, tell Sam maybe.
We'll talk about it tomorrow, Sam.
Or you could slip into this nice little thing. They'll send you right back to Earth and totally won't burn you into a cosmic crisp.
Beautiful, beautiful transition there. What I've got here today is from Towns Ciderhouse out of Corvallis, Oregon. This is Cosmic Crisp. This is actually a cider, an imperial cider, 8.0 alcohol by volume, so this is a pretty strong one. It's supposedly pretty dry, which is how I like my ciders. That tastes like cider.
Stop. Stop.
Man, this is really good. Not super tart either. Not super sweet. This is just really reserved, which is really good. Really, not what I was expecting from an imperial, to be honest, but I like it a lot. It's not super fizzy either. There's nothing harsh about it. This is good and well-rounded. It's not like a dessert or anything. Honestly, this is great. Super crisp, super refreshing. Yes, I will have another one of these.
Hell yeah. And if you're going to have another, we'll have another Sam, please.
Ooh, one on the house. Actually, one on the house and several hundred under that house.
Oh, yeah. You know, I kind of like it when the two Sams start to like become buddies, I guess. They start like
It's
playing ping pong and all that shit.
it's one of the best examples of brotherly love in a movie. You know, it's so odd because like you have two completely different versions of the same man, and they technically have the same memories, same
Hmm.
wants, everything. But it's just how they interact with each other and their environment after time has passed for one of them. I'm gonna set aside the simple, brilliant work of just like compositing them in the same scene because there's fucking nonsense. Like they're playing ping pong for fuck's sake.
Yeah, so they're having a conversation. Like Sam 1 is talking to Sam 2. He's like, "Oh, you know about Tess? What about Eve? You know about Eve?
Mm.
Oh, you say she's your daughter too? Well, that's fucking weird."
Dude, it's one of the strongest points of the movie for me. I don't know. It blew my mind in its simplicity. I know it's like somebody's listening like, whatever. It's a fucking scene. I thought it was brilliant because Sam 1 has 3 years of information the new Sam does not. So Sam 1 gave him information from the future.
Yes. And what's really fucking cool is that they highlight this with new Top Gun Sam getting his first transmission from Tess. And it's the initial transmission from where he left Earth, where they were
Yeah.
having problems with his aggressiveness and his, being too upfront. And older Burnhand Sam is chill now. He's had 3 years to reflect and adjust himself. And while we have puberty Sam just going nuts, like, no, we got to do all this, he's like, hey, man, just chill. Just sit down. Just take a minute for you. This isn't who you want to be. I know. Oh, by the way, check out our daughter.
Yeah, and he just has this like existential crisis. And like in his motivations, that's where everything changes.
Man, I'm getting my mind blown during all this because there's so many like little things that I did not pick up on when I was watching this. And I'll tell you, I was deep in this. I have written 23 pages of notes on this movie.
That's at least a dozen ciders worth.
My mind is blown, you guys.
It's definitely something you got to rewatch, and
Mm-hmm.
it's supremely entertaining each time. It's not like you're going to watch a whole 2-hour movie just for one nugget of info. There's so much subtlety here.
Mm-hmm. Man.
But just offhanded, just like, wouldn't it be hilarious if the hot-headed Sam, like after he got that message from his wife, he's like, oh man, I'm actually kind of glad you're on the moon so we can work some shit out. And he's like, psh, whatever, bitch, swiping moon Tinder.
Minder.
Oh, they just send more men.
Oh no! Oh, I fucked that up so bad. So Eliza is on their way, and it's the cleanup crew, and they get this countdown that's constantly alerting us of how much time they have.
Yeah.
And while these two, Sams, Top Gun Sam and Burnhand, are basically broing out, he comes to the point from older Sam that you don't trust the man.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just like, I forgot what Gertie said, like some kind of like soft order. It wasn't even mean spirited or anything. And then like new Sam just like, the fuck? You're just gonna take his word?
Yeah. And of course, Burnhand Sam, being at this point complacent, is just like, yeah, I was just going to do it. And he's like, how about you don't? We need to find where the clones are kept. He's like, brah, there ain't no clones. Like, he still ain't having them.
That's why I brought up like that little bit being like a turning point for new Sam's character, because even though he's staring him in his own face, he's just like, all right, I'm on the moon. Shit's fucked as it is. This ain't happening.
We find out how long that he's done just the modeling hobby. That is 938 hours just working on the model.
Yep.
And this makes both Sams go like, what? What?
Yeah, and we get the little tidbit that it was already there whenever he arrived, which seems a little weird. So is like when he wakes up or whatever, is he supposed to have had the memories of building it like on Earth?
I think it might run into those things where they put those little, they're not even whole memories, just kind of like urges, or like however you want to talk it in like the new Sam. Like he doesn't necessarily have the idea in his head to do the town. He's just like, I'm going to start building. And this just so happens to be here.
Yes.
Or I'm going to continue building because this is something that I have the memory that I have worked on, for hours before.
Yeah.
And, Gertie's definitely going to, since he addresses both Sams as Sam, because they're both Sam, if he asks any question of Gertie involving himself, he's never lying to him. So he's always being helpful. So when he's like, how long have I worked on this? 938 hours. How did I do that? I don't remember working on it. You were in an accident, which is more than often the truth. What happened to you? You died.
It is actually really refreshing with his honesty, because Sam 1 basically walks up to Gertie. He's like, why didn't you tell about all this clone shit and all this other junk? And he's just like, with a smile, you didn't ask.
Yeah, this is one of those times, like, I don't even remember what they were talking about in this particular conversation, but it's like when Gertie like puts on that sad emoji and then immediately goes to the crying emoji. It's
Yes. That's when he's given fucking the Sam's Total Recall.
Oh yeah, he's talking about Tess and Eve, and it's just like straight up. Those are just memories uploaded from the original Sam, like 5 Sams ago. Sorry, bro.
It's so rough that these are memories and they're not even yours. I don't know, something about that just fucking blows my mind.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that right after all this, they're having this, again, existential crisis. But then how do they deal with it? The way that you would see 2 siblings do it, an older brother and a younger brother, they just start like lovingly picking at each other. He's like, I'm fucking freezing. He's like, put that on. You look like a radioactive tampon. You know, just
this is really good. It was like, you look like a banana with a yeast infection.
Yeah, meanwhile, he's like trying to blast Walking on Sunshine and just like have nothing of like anything else that's going on.
When that like seemingly randomly appeared in the movie, the missus looked over, is like, why the fuck is he just dancing for no reason? I was like, hun, he's fucking lost his fucking mind. Like, he is snapped
Space
madness. In half. Oh,
Space
madness.
Madness. It's gonna bite your ice cream bar.
I can't believe we've gone this far in this movie, a movie that takes place in space, featuring Sam Rockwell, without mentioning Zaphod Beeblebrox or whatever his name is in Hitchhiker's Guide.
Well, as someone who hasn't seen that movie, I don't know.
Eric, what the fuck?
Join us next week when we do Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I didn't realize that. All right. Good to know. Well, then let's move past this.
Since Sam tells Sam, hey, Sam, they're lying to us, Sam. He goes, you're right. How do we deal with this? He goes, high five, road trip.
Yeah, so they decide, what are they going to do? They're like, all right, let's get out of here. We got to drive around outside of the parameters.
Yeah, they're passing the boundaries of the space station. They're trying to get out of range of the jammers that they discover.
Oh, yeah, this is when Fry takes the little cart off-road in Futurama.
Oh, nice.
They're going to find the Crushinator.
I think it's another bit in the movie where he's just like, listen, fresh Sam would have done this forever ago. Old Sam is just like, yeah, I've never been out this far before. Didn't really see the need. New Sam just like, it's right fucking there. Yeah. I can see it.
It's the moon. We're going to go find those whalers on the moon.
They discovered that there's multiple stations. There's multiple jammers. And it's a big realization for these fellows. And Burnt Hand Sam, I don't know why, but I suppose his chest burster decided to erupt, and he starts like just hacking up blood.
You're absolutely right. His Moonvid 19 fucking just starts going nuts, spraying blood out of his fucking face like a fissure. And he's like, all right, Sam, my butt, elbow bump, I gotta head back, diarrhea.
I can't really talk, I gotta poop.
Can't talk, gotta moon poop.
Oh.
Peace.
He starts spitting out that blood like fucking Tim Roth in 4 Rooms. He's like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, I would pay to see the moment when they find the other Sams and they just pull him out like a kitchen drawer. Look! Ow!
Stop calling him that! And then he fucking stabs him with a moon syringe.
A moon syringe.
The hobby knife when he had it in his hand earlier.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
These are all references to the 4 Rooms cast that we did several months ago. Go listen to that when you're done with this one.
And after that, Sam, even though he's gross as shit now, like, he goes to the bathroom, empties whatever else is in his stomach, and his teeth start to fucking fall out. He just really looks like he's covered in malice, really. Like, his eyes are sunken in, he's pale as liquid paper. This dude looks like he needs to be taking some kind of radiation treatment for something.
I think he's starting to decay from, like, I don't know, like, I've got some questions, actually.
He looks like one of the fucking crewmen from Davy Jones' ship.
Oh. 100%. Like, you just see him later on massaging his foot and his toe pops right off.
Yeah, and there's
He's gonna
just
start to go
Vaseline.
tentacles.
He's just doused in tentacles and Vaseline.
I mean, it just shores up with Gertie's fucking porno.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yep.
what the Japanese like. Don't sue us, Japan.
Oh,
The whole
fucking-
country. I get a cease and desist from Japan LLC.
That's the real fucking currency. Moon money is Vaseline tentacle porn in space.
But okay, legitimate question: why is this happening to him? Is this just like what happens at the end of every 3-year period, or like?
It wasn't supposed to happen. It took me a while to figure that out too, but the missus pointed it out is that the new Sam wasn't supposed to leave the infirmary. Like, if he hadn't have been curious and see that one truck like out of order, he wouldn't have gone out to find him.
Yeah, see, to me though, what it shows is that, to Chandler's point, is every time they break down, they start asking Gertie what to do, and he's like, get inside this, we'll cryogenically freeze you until they take you for the trip. And he's like, okay, good deal. And then when he gets inside, it's secretly a suicide booth.
Yeah.
Wow. There's a lot of Futurama references here.
Yeah, so this whole thing happened because new Sam was so curious, he walked out of the infirmary and was like, hey, any good porn? Oh, wait, you're talking to the Earth. What's up?
He calls his daughter, which is like technically, I guess, what he thought was going to be his wife. And he's like, hey, is my wife there? And she's like, who? Tess. She's like, yo, mom's been dead. Get over it, bruh. And he's like, Dad, somebody's calling about mom. And you hear OG Rockwell be like, who the fuck trying to get in Tessa's pussy now?
Oh,
How many
no.
Rockwell's gonna be calling? How many Rockwell's gonna be calling?
Dude, that's the Sam Rockwell from Green Mile, where he's that racist piece of shit.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes, with the moon pie.
I forgot that was Sam Rockwell. Honestly,
Held this moon pie in my mouth for 20 minutes to get it nice and sloppy for you.
Ugh. This reminds me of that fucking gross woman from Billy Madison. I know you like 'em sloppy, and just like throws a sandwich at him.
oh, the lunch lady.
Yeah.
Sloppy Joe, sloppy Joe.
Cut it out, lady. You're scaring us.
So I got another question too. So they go out and see these other like bases, these other stations when they're out. Are those doing the exact same things that they're doing? Like, are those stations like the ones that they are on?
No, they were just signal jammers. They put like a huge circle of them around the actual base so that you couldn't do live communications. Or at least Sam could.
I was thinking it might be like Antarctica with the thing, or just like Antarctica in real life, you know, where there will be like different stations. Like you'll have, you know, like the Americans here, the Norwegians there. Like I know everyone's trying to mine all this stuff, so I just assumed there would be like other stations set up, and when they're approaching it, it says on there Station 2, Station 3,
Yes.
Yeah.
those kind of things.
Like there were former ones. It's so, as he's rolling by, you got fucking Sam, then you have Comrade Sam, and then you have fucking Samson.
Oh,
But when they get to the Russian one, it's not Sam Rockwell. It's just that dude from Armageddon who's been in the International Space Station for way too long.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
the cosmonaut. Moon dub, baby.
I think this base is the only thing on the moon because it was very clear like this whole thing is just like a money-making kind of scheme from the company because like they're trying to pinch Penny so hard that they cloned a guy without even telling him.
yeah. I mean, why have multiple employees when one just, you know, copied several hundred or thousand times works just as good?
Oh my god, it's like Larry from Gumball.
Oh, where he's just working everywhere?
Yep.
I just assume this is super late stage capitalism.
It's the next step. It's the future.
Yeah.
We got tuberculosis Dutch Sam, and he's back at the station, and he's talking to the other Sam, and he goes, "Hey, buddy, we ain't gonna make it home. Look at me. Look at these legs." And he pulls back a blanket. My little polio legs. Yes. And he's like, "You're the one that's got to escape. Go put me back in my cruiser. That way when Eliza fucking mercenaries show up, I'm not here and you're okay and you can get back to Earth." Which I know that this is the big ending and we're supposed to be excited for Sam because he's going to trick the company. He's going to get himself back to Earth and he's going to have his moment to shine. But boy, oh boy, once he does take off for Earth, I just started losing my shit and laughing because he was like, whoop, whoop, whoop. Like, what's he whooping about?
No, he's experiencing all those G's. He's like on a roller coaster or something.
Like, I guess that's his moment of just like elation, or he knows he's gonna die, just having fun.
That's his fucking riding an atomic bomb, fucking Doctor Strangelove style.
Oh, dude, you're 100% right. Absolutely, he just yeehaw cowboy space hat.
I think this was more of him letting the fans know that he's secretly a juggalo.
Got them moon bitches.
That big container that he packed, that's not helium. That's Fago.
Fago?
Yeah. That's the rock and rye.
Oh, he's just going to smash it on the fucking earth as soon as he gets back.
Whoop, whoop. All right, so am I right in assuming that, okay, let me get this straight. The original plan was to take the not yet awakened clone and hide it in the truck, like the crash truck, and that's what the guys would discover, Eliza would discover whenever they arrived, and then
yeah, you're right. Like the
Sam number 2 would be like the active Sam still staying on base.
Yeah, you're right to an extent, because like the plan changes a little bit. Once they found out that Sam 1 was deteriorating, there's like, oh, bitch, just put me in the truck. I'm going to die. And he's like, all right, cool. Well, the dudes are still going to want to kill somebody, so I'm just going to wake this other fucking numbskull up. They're going to bust his head and not mine.
100%. While he whoops his way all the way back to Earth.
It's like Joe Rogan's over there manhandling the new guy. And just in the distance, you hear it like a whoop, whoop.
We're getting a ping on radar. What is it? It's a whoop. And then another whoop. It seems to be repeating. Goddamn space juggalos.
And then Joe Rogan's just like, I haven't had enough time to tell them that the M in DMT stands for moon.
Oh. Did you guys like, though, that once he makes it back to Earth, that he's out there basically on every news channel trying to spread his story, and they are giving you 100% some Alex Jones persona that's like, don't listen to that man. He's either a communist or a liar.
He's either a wacko or an immigrant. Either way, he needs locked up.
Yes.
Like, I know we're going through like the last bit pretty quickly, but I do love the absolute levels of devastation that the first Sam has to go through. Like, we already stuffed them in the thing or whatever, but a little before that, they find this entire room of just like unused clones, and they just have like another just moment of like, man, shit ain't real. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, and when they see them, they open one up and you see like all of their like personal effects are already like coming in there, like he's like a Power Rangers action figure or something. He's got like, his trademark poster. He's got his like coffee mug, all the things that he needs to live his normal life and feel like, he belongs. These are his.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, I don't know if it would be funny or emotionally devastating if we just get a shot of Gertie just pushing all his Patriot shit with a push broom and just like hate the game, not the player, and just shoots along.
Sam version 3.1 with new action bills.
This one's got the kung fu grip.
He just has that button in his back. He presses, he just karate chops.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Now, there is a moment where you get to see the beginning of the change for original Sam, because he wants to send back the old Sam because he served the time. So why wouldn't he get to go home? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he puts him in the little shuttle and he's like, are you comfy? And he's like, no, get me out of here. He's all crotchety and covered in fucking slime.
Yeah, he just looks like an old bruised banana. He's like, well, get me out of here.
Oh my God. He looked like Duddits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you say that, yeah.
I actually didn't want to say it because I hate how that shit's been following me ever since we did Dreamcatcher.
But yeah, and just before everything, hits the fan and everything, he goes out and like he sets the coordinates for the harvester or something so that it'll run into the jammer or whatever. So he finally gets the jammers all disconnected and just in time for this brand new Sam number 3, I guess canonically Sam number 7. Is that right? He's going to be able to figure this out in short supply, I feel.
He just wakes up and then Joe and the Rogans just fucking blast in and just ruin his fucking day. It's like, what? I just had an accident. You about to have an accident. And ruin him.
No, so
what
you think they're going to kill the Sam number 7?
Yeah, 100%. That was the whole reason why they changed the plan so close to the end, because they realized that new Sam, the one that, gets launched back to Earth eventually, spoilers, they realized that, like, he was not supposed to know any of this. So that's just them scrubbing any kind of like dirt.
Yeah.
See, my impression was they were just going to like, all right, we've got a new Sam up and running. That's fine. Because they still have to leave one Sam there to get the job done. They got the new Sam up and running. They just need to like get the old Sam out of there so that, you know, in case this happens again, like there's no evidence.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why they wanted to scrub him, just like liquidate all that. Just the hell with it. Yeah.
But they would still need one Sam. Are they gonna like just have that new Sam booted up and then kill him and then just break open another case of Sams?
Yeah.
It's like a tube of tennis balls.
Are they gonna open a whole new package?
All like a bubble package for an action figure, just like clop and he just pops out.
Right, yeah, no, like, if they show up and just see, like, a brand new, like, fresh Sam that has no memory of any of this, and, you know, they got the other dead Sam out there, aren't they just gonna say, well, that's fine?
Well, they did that whole thing just so, like, the newest Sam, well, 3 in our little small chronology, is just the patsy. Like, even if he doesn't know anything, they're just like, okay, the dead guy's in the truck, you're the guy that knows about him, time's up, you know, just the hell with it. They'll just open a new one.
Is he even going to know about him, this brand new Sam?
It doesn't matter. Like, I think it was just going to be like a fireball operation, scrub the whole thing, open up a new Sam, pat him on the back. Sorry about your accident, bud. DMT's the best. Peace.
What's cheaper in the long run? One more Sam when you have what appeared to be like infinite, or the entire operation? So they'll just burn another Sam.
Yeah.
Seems like a waste to me. How much does a Sam cost?
Well, without a Sam card, you can't really get too far. Like, not even past the door.
No, you can still go to the pharmacy.
Well, I guess that one Sam did look pretty fucking sick, so...
I think you can still buy the hot dogs, right? Sam's Club, sponsor us.
I think they're going to have questions about, like, all the blood vomit all over the fucking station that they didn't clean up.
And the tooth.
Man,
that was a big tooth, too, wasn't it?
I mean, if I'm pulling from, like, hot-headed Sam, he's very Carl. He's like, I was like that when I got here.
Hey, you know, Gertie said I had an accident, and, you know, it is what it is. And then the two guards look over at Gertie, and they're like, Gertie, is that true? Eric, you'll get this. It pans over, and it's no longer Gertie. It's a Russian guy wearing, like, a striped shirt in a Gertie suit hanging from an arm in the ceiling, and he's like, he knows.
It's just a dude holding a camcorder. That's the new Gertie.
No, yes. I'm going a different direction. They asked Gertie what happened. He's just like, he fell down some stairs.
I sniped that bitch with a D battery. Don't at me.
What?
What happened, Gertie? Nothing. And then it's the emoji with the sweat drop. Gertie tries to do the final thing and protect him and gets it. Gertie does the most bold thing in trying to protect Sam and gets the gun emoji. And they're like, he's got a gun! Put the gun down.
And they just bolt. They just like go for cover.
Bang,
Kevin
bang,
Spacey.
Bang, bang.
Kevin Spacey has to be paid to say, Gertie, bow to Hurdy, and just like whip out that emoji.
No, it's Kevin Spacey. The only emojis he's whipping out are eggplant and peach.
Oh, no. And some people wind up dead.
Oh, it's like, they're like, Gertie, what's going on? And he's like, I'm about to break out the GIMP. And they're like, what? He's like, the GIMP's sleeping. We have to wake him up then now, won't you? And it's like fucking one of the Sam clones in BDSM gear.
Oh, he's just now waking up and he's just on the slab and they have to unzip his mouth and he's like, what happened?
You're at the infirmary.
It's like that little Vine or whatever, that woman asleep getting water poured on her, and her first reaction, she thought she was on a phone. She's like, hello?
Just so confused.
Yeah, but instead of just water, it's an elbow to the face.
They don't have Walking on Sunshine playing. Instead, it's just that fucking just full volume from Pulp Fiction.
Oh man. You know, when all's said and done with the Sam, you know, the second Sam, he finally gets to go back to Earth. He's going to expose this whole operation. You know, he's wooing through space because, you know, he's a choo-choo train. But what I love about the end is just so wonderfully ambiguous. It's not a movie that just ends and makes the audience think of what happened next. It's just like, okay, 3 or 4 possibilities, and you get to like choose your own adventure at that point. Like, what's satisfying to you?
See, I kind of agree and disagree on that at the same time. Like, Like, the reason part of me dislikes this is because I don't have that sort of satisfying, like, wrapped up ending. But if I did, I don't know what ending would give me a sense of satisfaction. Overall, this movie was honestly pretty great. Mind-blowing after talking about it for a little bit. I don't know that it's actually, like, great, but I'm compelled to watch it again, and I probably will before the week's over.
Well, this was my pick, and I put it on there because I wanted to share with you. I love this movie to death, and like I've expressed earlier, like I found more stuff to enjoy. Like I know this is a very well-known kind of cult movie, and it's developed a huge audience now. But like the way I found it, it's always going to be close to my heart. I love the thriller mystery side of this movie. Sam Rockwell are amazing. They're just so good. It's a total recommendation. Like if we haven't spoiled it enough and you're still interested, please just watch Moon.
Dude, I thought it was awesome. This is my third time watching this. I think it's got a very interesting take on corporate greed and how we as people are treated. Like in the idea of we do X to earn X, to get a vacation from all that bullshit, but it's all a lie in the end, and you end up just basically grinding yourself down. It's fucking cool to think about when you actually watch the movie.
Well, there you have it. Fuck corporations, but also that was Moon. If you have any strong feelings about the movie or the show, leave it in the comment sections below.
Please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Bash the little bell icon. Go ahead and ring it so you know what we got brewing up next.
Get out there and follow some fucking social media, y'all. We're on YouTube. We got all the shits. We're on Spotify. I mean, how cool is that? We're anywhere you want to be. I think that's someone else's slogan. I got to be careful with that shit. So if it's got podcasts, we're there. Give us a listen. If you don't, we'll clone you and use you for corporate gain.
Hell yeah.